Welcome to Guardrail Technology's 5 in 10, a series of interviews with AI experts from around the world, getting their perspective on the manner in which AI is changing our lives for the better or worse. And today we're deeply pleased to have my colleague and the president of Guardrail Technology, Shauna Hoffman, aboard. We are thrilled because Shauna leads this initiative and has a world of expertise and is in fact traveling the world right now, happens to join us from London as she and many others are exploring the world of AI. So Shauna, thank you for joining us. And what's on your mind today? Anything in the AI world that's of importance?
Absolutely. I will tell you, it's a little bit of that elephant in the room situation. We're all over the news. There has been Sam Altman, and I had to laugh because Dazza Greenwood had, scenario from, I think it was like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think he had 8 different scenarios about all the movement, everything that's going within AI. There's lots of conspiracy theories, which are really fun. We could probably even talk about a couple of those, but it's pretty fantastic to see, first off, AI getting such great press, but then also to see some of the bigger, big tech companies really coming after and saying one of the leaders in AI, we definitely want to bring into our fold. And so it looks like Sam Altman has now the founder, for those of you who don't know, of OpenAI. He was, he's the one who's been testifying in front of Congress about AI, et cetera, and really has gotten a lot of press since they offered OpenAI out to the world for free, so long ago. So, or not that long ago, I guess less than a year ago. So
Yep.
it's really
Let me
exciting.
speak to that if I can. It was just a year ago on the 30th of November. Anybody, by and large, knew anything about generative AI. Broke on the scene. People from around the world began to look at it. And but for that, I don't think that this little skirmish in Silicon Valley would have many people's attention. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I don't think so either. I think what the AI industry did need was for an opportunity for the rest of the world to see what we've been seeing for the past, 15 years. Since Watson won Jeopardy, it can do so many wonderful, AI can do so many wonderful things for society and really support corporations, government agencies. I mean, there's the good, the bad, and the ugly, of course, with any massive technology can be used by good people for good things, by bad people for extremely bad things. And we now see an opportunity that we've never had before in history where something so powerful was just offered out for free for everyone to try it. And that's that's good and that's also bad.
So how does that, you think, have anything to do with this skirmish that is now global in scope, that's
Yeah.
coming out of Microsoft, OpenAI, Sam Altman, the whole gang of Silicon Valley? Why is that important to us?
Yeah. It really is this new, um, I say the new race that everyone's in. I mean, eventually, I'm sure somebody will look back and coin it as the AI race or something, to where we're going to have 5 years, probably even a decade full of massive advancements. So who's going to get in whose camp? There's a lot of discussions going on from you and I know have been very busy on the regulatory side, providing our insights to various agencies in the US, the SEC. I've been working with the United Nations on yeah, at the Internet Governance Forum. We also have the other data forums within the United Nations that I've been presenting to over the past couple of years. So we have a lot of amazing opportunities to be part of that race, but there's a lot of decisions that have to be made. One of the ones that came up that I know is near and dear to both of our hearts is this open access. We've been pushing internet for all at the United Nations for quite some time. What about this? This is the newest, hottest technology, really is groundbreaking. Should there be options for Gen AI for all?
Well, and I think it's fascinating. And from a lawyer's perspective, we're looking at the many wrinkles in the legality of organizational conflict like this and looking at, is this a hostile takeover? Is there antitrust involved? I mean, we could get lost in all of those wrinkles, but there's something far more important to the world at stake here. And you touched on it when we talk about access to data and governance. So when we talk about responsible AI, how do you define responsible AI? And then we'll come back to see how that might be at the core of some of these disputes.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, responsible AI actually takes varying different levels. There's two different types of responsibilities. There's responsibility from the business and strategy side, and also the responsibility from the technology side. So we can break that down into that easy triangle that we've talked about for decades now, that people, process, and technology. On the technology side, the responsibilities need to come from looking at biases, looking at anything that could cause issues with inclusion and diversity, would be a good lever to look at. From the process side, how are the people interacting, and what does that process look like? And are you being inclusive with that process? Are you being responsible with it? Are you putting strong cybersecurity measures? One of the young men that has actually been teaching my youngest son how to code for years, he just moved over to Amazon to be part of their security team for Alexa. I was thrilled to see that. He's got a great cybersecurity background. And we need more young people stepping into the fold to say, okay, we know that there are, at least 7 pillars that need to be met, bias being one, security, cybersecurity being another, but there's many pillars that need to be met on the people, process, and technology. And then also on the people side, some of the largest breaches that I've ever worked on with corporations were just a lack of oversight by the human beings. So keeping human beings always in the loop is going to be important, because we will, no matter what, always see things differently than any sort of bot. As much as we want to train it to be like us, it's never going to be as good as a human. And there are complexities, there's also empathy and things that we're going to see, that keeping us in charge and in control is going to be very key for our future.
Well, it seems to me, and I'm purely an outsider here, but what I read of the press in this dispute coming out of Silicon Valley right now has to do with a conflict between the need to move fast and capitalize on all of the economic opportunities, as in opposition, it seems, to the need to move with some degree of caution to ensure that some of those guardrails that you just mentioned are in place. And at the moment, it would appear that speed wins. I don't know. That's just my bias. But how do you think the world, with this enormous economic opportunity, is going to be able to keep up with, on the ethical side, all of those areas of responsibility you just limited, and
Yeah.
make sure that we're going forward for the best of humanity? How do we do that?
So it is a task that has to be done from the front end. We are training a system. Think about it like training a child. It's going to start out at probably sometimes infancy, depending on how much data it's been trained on. But let's say it's a early teenager. It's been trained on some data, but it really depends on the data it's been trained in, and then also the process. The technology is important. I have to tell you this. This is so crazy. So my sister was in Florida for vacation. So I was like, okay, let's go ahead. I'm going to send you some pictures and things. And she picked up my phone. My phone actually opened for her. But here's what's weird. I then asked her to get on my Disney app to do something. She couldn't get into my Disney app. So what I'm saying is everyone's facial recognition is not the same. So clearly my phone, she was able to get into with similar bone structure, I guess. She's 6 foot, I'm 5'7", whatever. I have no idea how she got in there, but she couldn't get into the app. So Disney has a different facial recognition system. So on technology, not every piece of technology is going to be the same. So that's going to be important, but it's also the process. It's the data in, the data out. No matter how awesome your technology is, if you have, let's say, crap data that you're putting in, it is going to give you results that are not the results you're looking for. So we have to really be hygienic on that data that goes in, and also just remember, we're training it like it's a kid. You're not going to feed really raw information into, and raw, I mean kind of like negative or bad or really say horrible things, hopefully, to a child, like you wouldn't do to your AI, because your AI, again, is learning different types of language patterns, and it is going to respond in that way. Think about it like a parakeet. We've all had friends who've had, or parrots who have parrots that say nasty words and horrible things because they've learned from somebody who lives in the household.
So there's our warning. And I wish we had many, many, many more minutes. I'm sure we could explore lots of different things. But Shauna, thank you for joining us on our first live broadcast. There will be many more, and I'm sure you will host them and have conversations with others. But I'm delighted to be able to have had this conversation with you. So from Guardrail Technologies, we wish you all the best. And don't forget, put the people back in the loop. That's the best way to save the world and the value of AI.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you.